Welcome back to another edition of the Gabagools podcast, episode 49. I'm your host, Jeff. With me today, long time, it's been a little bit, probably just still licking the wounds from the fantasy football loss. Richie Four Bags, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. And so I don't know. Yeah, the last time I was on, I don't know if I had said that I was in the championship in both my leagues or not. But the outcome was a loss in both of those, which is really exciting. That felt good, as one could imagine. Um, yeah, I you know what, I'm going to keep this one PG on my thoughts on that. But you can take that and put it somewhere else. But
Heck,
doing good. We're preparing for the off season, heading into the off season, retooling, getting ready for baseball season to come up, which is pretty exciting. A lot of news apparently on the Cubs maybe being good. I don't really want to hear it personally until the Ricketts, like the car crash happens or something. I don't really like him, but NBA kind of sucks. Luca goes to the Lakers. But I digress. I'm rambling.
no, you're good. We'll unpack it just from the start. Fantasy we already talked about. We're gonna keep it humble here. We're not gonna throw it in each other's faces, but yeah, pulled out the W, and we'll leave it at that. Because we both wanted that at the end. We wanted to be at the end together.
We did,
So
yeah. It doesn't
it
hurt
like,
as bad
yeah,
as I thought it would, honestly, because one of us was going to win. That was the goal.
yep.
The Keswick Block Trophy is no longer really not competitive on either
On
of
any
those.
other part, on any other parts, except for maybe John. I
Sure,
did have to
sure.
laugh though. Trades away like not half of his team, but Mixon to Tyreek to Pat, faces him and still beats him and has draft
Yep.
capital. I had to laugh though because if I would have lost in that like to John and he makes a championship after basically trading away a good portion of his team, I don't think
Yeah.
I would have been able to sleep at night, especially with the team I had.
I did that the year before, not this
I know.
last year, but the year before. I did the same thing. I sold off the whole, damn near the whole team, got the picks, and then still ended up making the playoffs. Got bounced pretty early, but then that's what set me up for this year, having Bowers, Neighbors, you name it. So that hopefully he gets his draft picks right next year, and then yeah, we're in for a world of hurt between you, me, and him, and then everybody else is a fucking crapshoot.
It's a tier down, and then obviously, we're gonna shout out Dan because like obviously he does have picks over. I think he's got 3 or 4 picks this year, and then 3 picks next year in 2026. That's you're drawing it up perfectly because now
Yeah.
with the emergence of we're gonna give him compliments here. With the emergence of Bryce Young, that actually does jumpstart his outlook or trajectory. Word of the day, toilet paper.
Yes.
A little bit quicker too. You got him, you got Daniels. Those are your foundations in a super flex, and he has his tight end already in Trey McBride. Solid core. Now building up wide receivers will be next. That's the next thing he
Sure.
needs.
You know what helps, Jeffrey, when you have those picks? To know who's in college and draft appropriately. You
Yeah,
should probably know who those players are. But just talking about Bryce Young, yes, if they get Tet, that would
running back like
probably be
that.
a huge help. Or I've seen a mock with now Tyler Warren. I would not prefer that for them in that scenario, but they need to get an offensive weapon. They got to help that guy out. But yes, he looked so much better at the end of the season. He looked like like he did at Alabama. But
Off the top of
in
my head, where are the Panthers picking? Because I haven't really done too much. Like I know
eight,
the top 10 is. They're not in the top 10, are they?
I believe it's eight. Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So they're right behind the Jets then. So,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, let's keep it on. We'll keep it on the fantasy part of it. But yeah. So, like, yeah, they need that outlook, and that's only going to help his team going forward. He has Bucky Irving, which is a good one because he's going to be he was a rookie. He's bouncing out. You don't want to. That's the last spot. At least the way I try to build my teams up. I'm doing a rebuild right now in another league. Running
Hmm.
back's the last spot I want. I don't want to have stud running backs and shitty wide receivers. My running backs give me 40. My wide receivers give me 5
It's
to
too
10.
hard. It's too hard to find good wide receivers.
It
It's
is.
not necessarily, for all intents and purposes, don't come from me. It's not that hard to find running backs to
No,
start in a fantasy league,
no.
but to find
Unfortunately,
good wide receivers you need to lock them down. So that's why you'll never get neighbors from me. Just so we're clear.
And that's okay. I mean, I don't because it would have to take a chase level. I'm not naive to what it is. I
Yeah,
mean, I would expect because that's what I would want is like a chase level player, and then we're sitting here talking like, what's the point? You know,
sure.
like you're
Yeah.
not getting him for AJ Brown and somebody else. Like that's not happening. And nor do I want. I love AJ Brown. That's what I'm glad I got a title with him on the team. Same with Stafford and Cup. Just overall like the morale boosters on that. But yeah, that's just the fantasy outlook with that. Obviously, I want to hear your opinion on the Super Bowl. I got Dan's last week on it earlier in the week.
I think it was the greatest fucking
Fantastic.
thing I've ever seen. I think it was the
Yeah.
greatest thing I've ever seen. I'm so goddamn sick, and I'm so goddamn sick of like the arrogance now of like the Chiefs players to like have the audacity to think they aren't being favored. Like I'm so sick of fucking Kelsey and his just attitude with this. It's like, dude, you guys do get calls. You do get more than the average
All
person.
of them.
Mahomes does get all of the calls, and then they sit there and they're just like pissed off about it because they know that it's now a league narrative that the league wants them to get their championships and that they boost Mahomes to try to beat Brady. It's like,
That's
well,
what it
hey,
is.
buddy, that's what the fuck it is. I loved every fucking minute. I was a little worried now when that game started and AJ Brown caught that ball on the sideline, first possession, and called fucking offensive pass interference on the fuck that almost lost my shit because I was like, here we go again. We're gonna start it up, and then almost soon as that basically happened after that, the ass kicking ensued, and it didn't stop. And
No.
truly, it literally reminded me of when the Bucks played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Mahomes is running for his life. Offensive line can't block anybody, and it's almost the same thing as to where like the defense wasn't even blitzing. The front four, I don't know what they ate the day. Like, I don't know what they ate their fucking Wheaties when they woke up because they went manned up 1-on-1 with their man, and they looked like monsters. And that was the differential. I don't think they brought additional backers, corner blitzes from my memory. I think it was
No.
straight up just like Josh Sweat fucking murdering people, and then not N'Kobe Dean, but Nolan Smith, who has had he's starting to show up. That's going to be a guy next year. If we're looking at 10+ sacks.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
that was the differential, man. There's just that
Yeah.
defense was on fire.
Yeah, it was, and yeah, so they produced like 16 pressures. I said it on last week's podcast too. They didn't blitz once, and I think it was in 42 opportunities. They didn't blitz once.
That's how you
I
win.
mean, so I think this is something that like Sean McDermott and John Harbaugh and like everybody else in the AFC needs to monitor and look at and be like, this is the key to beating the Chiefs. Simple as that. Bruce Arians did it in 2020 with Brady and company. You play the keep away game. Okay. You don't give the ball. You don't kick field goals. Field goals don't beat Mahomes and company.
No.
You basically play a cover four and have a really good defensive line to add pressure because as soon as you drop back, he starts rolling out of the pocket and making bad decisions because he doesn't have his safety net and Tyreek Hill anymore to bomb it down the fairway. Now, let me strike that because Xavier Worthy kind of proved that he can be that dude, and I'm happy to see it because I do have some shares in fantasy. But overall, I agree with what you said to start with that. About the overall whining about the calls. It's like they are the last people to do it because I've seen Burrow literally get his whole face mask ripped off
Seriously, and
and
Caleb
getting
the whole
called.
year.
And honestly, I think that was like, and that was a heartbreaking thing because I'm a big Burrow guy. Got him in like all my fantasy leagues almost. And it's hard to see him just like, be that good and then have it ripped away from him because of that. But that being said, I think this is not the end of the Chiefs dynasty, but I think this is the like in between period that we saw from probably '05 to maybe 2014 with the Brady Patriots, where we're going to see the Chiefs make Super Bowls where they might even pull one out. But I think we're going to start seeing the new wave of quarterbacks such as Josh Allen, Lamar gets one. I can see the Chargers like not maybe winning a Super Bowl, but taking the division as soon as maybe 2027. And this is after it depends on if Travis Kelsey, they gave him the limit too, if he's going to retire to do it soon. And what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that we're going to start
Well,
seeing the turnover from, or maybe new league order essentially of,
I do. Yeah, I do. Final thoughts on Super Bowl. Chiefs couldn't get a run game going. Pacheco looked terrible. Kareem Hunt didn't look very good. Chiefs are the highest like RPO team in the whole league. RPOs didn't work,
Right.
and then you took away literally their game plan, and then to further it, yeah, Worthy had 7 for 156 and two tutties, but garbage time touchdowns. That
Yeah.
wasn't happening in the first half. They were playing, so like take that with a grain of salt. He did get behind the defense, but yeah, they're already up 30 something points when this was happening. So take it with a grain of salt. But in terms of like the shift in the league, yeah, I think they're always going to be there. But I think now we're going to start seeing. I think the Chargers are a nice call. Believe it or not, the Bears will be in that mix in a couple of
Yeah.
years. Um, and so I'm kind of excited for it. I'm pretty sick of just seeing the same team, just like with the Patriots. We're sick of
Yeah.
seeing the Patriots every year. But here's where I really appreciate is that Brady did this. He retooled every year with what he had around him,
Yeah.
and he just made it work. So I wonder what the Chiefs are going to do in terms of offensive weapons, right? So we're losing. Chiefs are going to lose right guard Trey Smith, maybe. Ah, man, I can't remember his last name.
Yeah, no, it's Trey Smith. I
Um,
think it's Trey Smith because I think I had it
okay,
written before. But
yeah,
yeah, let me.
and he is probably going to get about 20 a year. I think the Bears. He actually might go to the Bears, and that is the rumor mill. And so then they have to figure out how to replace that. Jawan Taylor is really not that good of a tackle, and he also cannot stay on the line to save his life. I don't know if you ever watch any of
Oh
those.
yeah,
This
I
man is
mean,
5 yards off the goddamn line of scrimmage because he knows he's going to get beat. It's
yeah,
kind of funny. But then
absolutely.
also in terms of wide receivers, right? D Hop's done. Worthy, we can say he's on the up and up. You can probably say Hollywood Brown is mediocre at best. Maybe he has a comeback year next year. I don't really know.
Let me
So
pause
where
you real
does that go
quick
for
here
them?
too, because G Rice too. We're speaking of their offensive weapons. His knees
Yes.
turn up, but like if he's healthy, once again, we're talking about a different ball game too. But I think overall, when you're looking at when he comes back, that is a lethal duo, and I think Rasheed Rice can take that elevated jump to being the wide receiver one of that team. Now he's going to have to recover, so they have to bring in maybe resign Hollywood Brown and see what you can do from there. But that team's, I mean, like I said, I think my projection for them is just they're not falling off. This isn't going to be the end of Mahomes, but I think honestly, it's going to be a little bit of a gap now for a Super Bowl because the team, like the cap era, is just going to start hitting them hard because they're going to have to restructure a lot of deals.
Oh yeah.
Chris Jones included. Mahomes won't have a problem with it. It's gonna be a lot of deferred money. So we'll see what ends up becoming of the Chiefs. But on the flip side, now do we put Jalen Hurts in that top three discussion for quarterbacks in the league now?
No.
No,
I,
you think he's top
I
five?
I I still think he is very product of his system, which is like I get it, right? Like that's what you want, right? You want a quarterback that's going to thrive in the system they're in. Um, I still don't necessarily think he's the greatest thrower of the football. I,
No.
I think I think they run with him excessively. But I don't. I guess I would give him top five being either 4 or 5. And then that's like what Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen being top three.
And
Um,
yeah, and then you can throw LJ in there too, but I think
and you
LJ
throw
also has
LJ
some
in.
flaws. But I mean, I think you can honestly make the argument that Allen goes one. You could put
Go Burrow too.
I want to put Burrow too, but I also want to give the respect to Lamar of what he does in the regular season. And but the jury's out on him when the teams actually know how to play against him. We've seen it multiple times. They destroy
Yeah.
him. When they make him pass, he gets very jumpy in the pocket. But then we just saw that from Mahomes too.
Yeah.
And and I think what you could say too that made Hurts really stand out to me this offseason or this postseason, he destroyed the Commanders. Their defense was kind of sus all year, in my opinion. But what he did to a Steve Spagnuolo Chiefs defense was pretty amazing, in my opinion. And that's why I put him up at 3 at least. And I could argue putting Burrow because he does put the Bengals a step ahead. No matter what's on their defense, you always know you have a chance with Burrow behind center. So I'm putting him in my top. I am going to put Hurts a little bit ahead of Mahomes, and I know that's going to be controversial. But what is? I mean, outside of like it's like I have a different vibe from Mahomes now. I'm not getting that same, like, okay, he's doing these amazing things. Now it's kind of like forced. Now it's like things aren't working for him now. We're seeing this new, like, okay, we saw him with Tyreek Hill. We saw him with Prime Kelsey. Kelsey's
Yep.
taken a step back. What have we seen? A second half
Yeah.
of the Super Bowl that was like, yeah, garbage time touchdowns, as you said.
That's where when you're good for so long, you need to evolve. And that's what Brady was the master of, was evolving each year and not doing the same thing and, it's almost like restructuring the offense to the new pieces to
Yeah.
make sure it didn't look the same as last year. And I think at this point, they're just doing maybe the same thing every single year. And it's time to evolve into a different type of offense. And who knows? Maybe Mahomes can't do any other type of offense. Like these are questions that
Could
are
be Matt
unanswered.
Nagy. Could be Matt Nagy's the problem. Like if you look at the numbers, I mean, the numbers don't
Traumatizing.
lie. Since he came there, he kind of has put a damper on Mahomes, and it's funny to think about too. Like relating it to fantasy, you had Mahomes as like your number one overall pick in almost every super flex, and now
Yep.
all of a sudden it's like, why are we taking that much of a step back at 28 years old or 29, whatever he
Was
is?
Nagy not the OC before he became the Bears head coach though?
He was like a QB coach, I think.
Ah, okay. He was a part of it. Okay, okay.
Yeah, and then we bit or the Bears took the bullet and just like, it's like, oh well, he came from the Chiefs. Let's do this. Um, Worth a try. I mean, people do it with the relating it to baseball. People take from the Dodgers organization, the Rays organization all the time to try
Sure.
to make it work. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think it was a great football season. I'm kind of glad. I mean, I had that future bet on the Chiefs, so it hurt to watch them lose as badly as they did. Not a Chiefs fan though, so don't really care. It doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
But you know, keeping it on football, we do have a little bit to look forward to with the Bears and with the Jets. Obviously, we can start off with the Bears. Obviously, I want to hear what you have to say about Ben Johnson.
Well, here's the thing, right? Is we know what he did as an OC with the Lions. We know that he turned down head coaching jobs for the last 2 years because he was waiting for the perfect situation. He didn't force this, he didn't rush it, and now he accepted the job. I think it's like 13 a year, which is like maybe fifth or sixth best in the league. I think Andy's at one at 20. And in theory, we have now everything we need. We can't make any more excuses. We
Nope.
had a fucking moron for a head coach who
Yeah.
absolutely destroyed our goddamn quarterback. We
Yeah.
had an offensive coordinator in Shane Waldron who didn't even watch film with fucking Caleb. It's absolutely disgusting. And now you sit there and look back at it. Now season's wrapped up. You're like, how did this guy? Of course, he was not going to succeed. And if you look at numbers wise, he actually had a great fucking year
Yeah.
with a piss poor offense. What 3,500 yards, 20 tutties, 6 picks,
Yep.
400 yards rushing. And if you watch the games, it looked so bad. Now I want you to envision the best offensive coordinator in the league, Ben Johnson, now coming and essentially getting this organization like really jump started with good play calling, good scheming. The preparation is going to be top tier. And so there's no more excuses. There's no more excuse. I'm pretty sure they fired everybody that was a part of that terrible culture
Yeah.
last year in terms of coaches, because you really do, like, you have to clean house. You have to get rid of everybody that was a part of that, and then start over. I know the O-line coach is gone, so that all these are good pieces. And then it becomes now, in my opinion, DJ Moore, we're fine. We're good with him. We're good with Rome. Rome should have been playing on the outside the whole season last year. I don't know why you have a 6'3" wide receiver playing slot when Keenan Allen, who has played slot his whole fucking career, then moves to outside. That just tells you we had no fucking clue what we're doing. So we have people in wrong positions. And now I think that's going to get corrected. Cole Kmet hopefully will get actually utilized. Now the difference becomes is at running back, what do we do? Now, Ben Johnson already got rid of DeAndre Swift for a reason once. All right, when he was on the Lions, he was
Did
gone
he
for a
make that
reason.
decision? Did he make the decision, or was it a money thing here? Because I think that's a money thing overall.
if it was a money thing, that guy did not play anywhere near good enough to be even demanding any sort of money from anybody.
He had that. Well,
Like,
he kept getting hurt too.
exactly. Well,
I'm
that's
a
my
big
thing.
Swift guy. Personally, I love Swift. I've always been
Slow,
a fan of him. I think he just
doesn't
gets
move
hurt
good.
way too often. I think I think he was a product of that offensive line. To be honest with you, if we're going to be
Yeah.
honest, that's why. Like
Yeah.
even going into Philly, he should have been able to do a lot. Like basically what Saquon did.
They've done way
He should
more.
have. It's just the athleticism's not there. He's basically a
It's
kind of
not.
a speed guy, and that's it. Doesn't have the ball vision.
I
Now,
don't even think he's a speed guy. He gets caught from behind.
true.
Like it's
Now moving into a guy that we're going to talk a shit ton about, like once it comes closer to draft time, when you and I
Ooh.
break down the running back fantasy draft here. Let's bring
Yeah.
up Ashton Genty at 10. Does he fall that far? Maybe, but
Yes.
if we really want to get the fireworks going and the juice is flowing for the Bears, you go out and you do that. But here's the problem: you go get Ashton Genty at 10. The problem that I see with that is that you need an offensive line. You need to protect Caleb. You need an offensive line to make him look like Saquon Barkley. I'm not comparing the two; they different
Sure.
games, but
Yeah.
you can't win without an offensive line, and that's why I'm going to be the Debbie Downer on that little note and say they're going to take a tackle. So they're either going after Will Campbell out of LSU
Or Banks.
or
Yeah.
or Banks out of I think his name's Banks out of Texas.
Calvin Banks Jr. Yeah.
Yeah, and they also need a defensive line. So
With
go on,
that, I mean, so when you talk about the pick at 10, you could go. We need an offensive line, right? Just because we don't go offensive line at 110 does not mean we get one in the second round. I know there's an Ohio State guard, maybe Booker, who is very good, and he's going to fall to the second. So it's not make or break. Now, if you go Genty in the first, and then also, like, think about this. I think we have like 80 mil in cap space. Like Ben Johnson said, if I go somewhere, I need to have full autonomy. That we're spending money. We're going to get an offensive line. This is where you trust in the coach type shit. So we go Genty. We say we go Genty at 110, offensive tackle in rounds 2, maybe, and then start working on the line and with the second round pick because we got 2.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things we could do. Or we go Will Campbell, Calvin Banks Jr. If it was my pick, it's hard not to take Genty just for hype, right? Because now we got something going. And Genty has an interview where he said the Bears are looking nice at 10, quote unquote. He said that. But if Genty's not there, which I don't know who's going to pick him before that,
Raiders perhaps because they desperately. I mean, they need a lot, but like they need some. Pete Carroll loves running the ball. We both know this.
Yeah,
that would be the way to do it. I don't think he goes that high.
Me either.
He's not. If Bijan didn't go that high, we're not saying he's almost as good as. We're almost saying at that point he's better than Bijan and he's better than Saquon, and we can't say that.
He's not.
He's good.
You can't say that yet.
Talented, but
yeah.
It would
so then say he's not there. For me it's Will Campbell. He had a great quote maybe about a month ago that was like, well, if you're on the defensive line and you get 1 sack a game, I don't know if you heard this. If you get 1 sack a game, you're going to be a first-round pick. If you're on the offensive line and you give up 1 sack a game, you're going to be working at Amazon. And I loved it, and it kind of makes me want him on that team. If that's the mentality you got, brother, you can fucking come. Then it becomes, right, since we're so deep in this fucking running back class, then the second round pick can absolutely be one of a billion people. All right, say Travion Henderson goes late 1. Just, entertain me. Possible. And then it becomes next up is going to be probably Caleb Johnson, who is a tank. And if you don't know who he is, go watch his highlights. He's a very worthy running back of a second round pick.
Out of Iowa, the Ivy League of Iowa.
Yes, out of Iowa.
Ivy League.
Yes, naturally, Cooper DeGene. And then after Caleb Johnson, we have Omarion Hampton, and then Quinshawn. Omari and Michael hired 2, and then you got Quinshawn Judkins, who is projected third round. I think I am so high on Quinshon Judkins.
I
I think
used to
he could
be
also
too.
go second round. And then if that doesn't even work out, there is a plethora of running backs in this draft. I've never seen this many running backs that are about to get drafted in one NFL draft. I'm talking maybe over 12.
It's gonna take
It's,
up honestly, it's gonna take two podcasts for us to break down that like the
it's going to be
running back
fun. That
class.
one's going
It's
to
gonna
be
be a
fun.
fun one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically
Also,
I
there's this guy. There's this guy. Oh, it's not going to show it. There's
uh,
this guy who's a tank.
Devin Neal, yeah.
Devin Neal.
Yeah, if he's paired with like Roshan, I think I like that. If he's paired with Swift, I do like that as well. Personally, I go with the latter part. I go conservative. I take the offensive tackle right there, plug him in. You have a big guy, and then you grab Caleb Johnson or Omari and Hampton. Like one of those guys is going to make that difference, and I think I
Yep.
lean that way personally. And let the Cowboys deal with Genty. And not like anything bad with Genty. I wish I could have some stock in him, but yeah, I think that's the route you have to go with them, and then you powder the line. But here's another scenario I want to run by you. Say Travis Hunter goes one or Cam Ward goes one, and you have Abdul Carter at two, and you have a chance to trade up and get that and make that line nasty on defenses. Do you do that? You trade up?
I, I'm gonna say no. We love Abdul Carter. That guy's a tank. Um, there's also this other aspect that we haven't discussed yet is that there is three people, three superstar defensive ends that are going to probably get traded. Myles Garrett, we know that. Max Crosby also is requesting a trade. He's trying to go somewhere. And then who was the third one?
My,
I can't.
you already said Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, and there's one more that is potentially they talked about could be a potential like trade partner for the Bears. I don't know. I'm drawing blank on it right now.
Either
But anyway,
way,
there are scenarios in which we beef up that defensive line, and ideally that doesn't take a first round pick and 110 to do that because then I wouldn't like any of those trade scenarios.
no.
But if we were to give up a second and a fourth to get Max Crosby, I'm all for that. Absolutely. So then there is that aspect. Then I don't know, and then also free agency is a whole other beast. I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
mean,
it's too heavy in free agency right now, but it remains to be
yeah, when I
seen.
was looking at it, it's not super pretty at defensive line. Um, your biggest number, like I mean, Demarcus Lawrence, he's not gonna. I mean, Josh Sweat would be fun, but based off of that Super Bowl thing, he's gonna want more than he was.
Yeah.
He was getting paid 10 mil a year. He's gonna want more. You know who I could see going there is Chase Young. I just have
Oh.
this feeling that like he's gonna go there, but he's not gonna be the potential that everybody wanted him to be. And
Hmm.
it's kind of like a band-aid thing, a band-aid move. I don't like that. If you pass up on Carter, that Georgia defensive end, last name Williams,
Mike, Michael,
Michael,
Michael.
maybe
I
I believe
think
it
it's
is
Michael
Michael.
Williams, and then
He's shooting up draft boards too. Everything I'm seeing, he's just electric as well.
and
You
his
could go that
teammate
option.
Jalen Walker.
I mean, the Bears have enough holes. I don't think they should trade for a Garrett because if you're giving up early first, it's not going to be worth it. And you
No.
need to kind of build around and have that core. And I think that was the problem what they did last year is they kind of kept the wrong head coach there and kind of went throttle down and said, "Hey, we're going to try to win with this," and they had too many holes to do it.
Yep.
Um, we'll see. Overall, I don't think they re-signed Keenan Allen. I think you're going to see them try to get a speed threat so Ben Johnson can kind of do a Jamison Williams type offense
Mm.
and have the two stud wide receivers and DJ Moore and in Rome on the outside. Or maybe they do work DJ Moore inside. I don't know if that's his game. I don't know if they can do that with
Oh.
him, move him inside and try to do a little bit options with that. But I could see them going after somebody else just to get a little bit more of a speed threat.
Sure. Yeah, because right now, as it stands, I think it would be like Tyler Scott. And to anybody listening, yeah, nobody knows who he is but me and Jeff. Like, he's
Sure.
not worth knowing. And they also talked about a potential of Cooper Cup going into slot two if they don't resign Keenan Allen, and that would be interesting.
I think he goes. We could do a prediction right here. I think he follows Stafford wherever Stafford goes, and I have a feeling that Stafford's going to the Giants. I've seen the Jets recently, but
I actually
I
read
hope
that
so.
this morning that the Giants theory, and that it would take like a first round pick to do so, and that would just be silly. That would be fucking
That would be
silly.
Giants all. That would be like the Giants mo. But I think they
It
go
kind of,
after.
yeah.
I think they. Well, it
Sign
would be
Jameis,
interesting if
run
they
it
get
for
rid of.
another year, tank it, get Arch.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I think. Anything else on the Bears that you can think of? Really, I think we did a good job of just breaking them down
Yeah, no. I mean, we're gonna.
at the
I
moment.
still think. Let me finish with this.
Yeah.
I still think Caleb's the truth. I think
Yeah.
he makes throws that fucking Jaden Daniels wishes he can make. He's the best fucking player to come out of the draft class. He is generational. That's why he went 1-1. He put up similar stats to Jaden with a fucking dog shit offense, and we sit here and trash him. You guys can all lick my balls.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, people are so hard on him with no coaching and stuff. Transitioning into my team now with the Jets, we can bring that down because there's a lot to unpack with them as well. But
Fucking idiots too.
yeah, worse.
Kind of. Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Caleb Williams is gonna be fine. Bears fans, take it easy on him. He's got the offensive mastermind right there. We're set. We're set. In Caleb, we trust. Now, moving on to my shitty fucking team here with the New York Jets. Let's start off with the fact that they're getting rid of Rodgers, and this is the biggest mistake. There's TikToks out there. I already went off on them about this, so I'll pass it over to you to get your opinion on it. Rodgers,
I don't know why we just don't run it back for one more year. Like, he wouldn't come back after next year anyway. It's I don't even know,
reports
man.
out
I
there
don't
are
even know where to begin with. Like,
we'll start off with this. The report's saying that the Jets basically said you're not going on McAfee's show or this or that, and
oh, didn't know that.
I think it might have been Rossini, who loves just trashing Aaron Rodgers. Pretty much said somebody leaked it and said, yeah, this is why they're not. That got debunked already too. That they said no, they actually thought it was fine that he went on McAfee's show. It didn't hurt them at all. And people are so like in the comments too on my TikTok saying, "Oh, well, the Jets have sucked." Yeah, I'm aware the Jets fucking suck. The problem with them is that they didn't have a coach, which that's
No,
a big thing. People need to realize in the NFL, you need a head coach to be successful.
that's
They
how
didn't have
this
that.
works, man.
Robert
Schemes
Saleh
and
deserved to be
systems. That's how.
fired. He deserved to be fired. He was not good the fucking 3 to 4 years we had him before that. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, Zach Wilson. Yeah, Zach Wilson sucked too. That was a terrible fucking draft pick. Hated it from then. The problem is that they didn't give Rodgers like a head coach that was actually competent. That's the problem. And then when they fired Saleh, they gave it to the defensive coordinator, who then was stretched real thin, and they couldn't keep the defense going. So then morale was at an all-time low. They were missing fucking field goals.
Yeah,
5
it's just
games
It's
they
just
lost by field
chaos.
goal. So
Like,
like that was part of it. So not running back Aaron Rodgers is a huge mistake because now we're gonna have to look at Russell Wilson. We're gonna have to look at Kirk Cousins. Hate that. If Kirk Cousins goes there, that means the Jets have learned nothing and we've lost all humanity. I do not want Justin Fields. Do not want him
no.
because he's not the answer. He is a backup QB that you have come in there, do a little juke here and there, and that's it. He's not a starting QB anymore.
What's the pick? What's the pick in the first? 7?
So 7. That's what I was going to go to after we were done with the Rodgers rant.
I don't need no notes.
No notes. When we sit there and break it down, they're screwed at QB. This pretty much said we're punting on this year. Maybe they're going for Arch, and if that's our goal, that's fine. The problem is you're wasting a year of Brees, you're wasting a year of Garrett Wilson. They're gonna fucking leave. They're tired of losing.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But to transition in here to
Jackson Dart at 1-7.
I
Jackson Dart
wouldn't
at
be
1.
upset with it, but they have so many other holes. I would love to see it. I'm seeing
That's a guy who would just shoot up the board because that's what the Jets would do, like Zach Wilson going number 2.
Right.
That guy was not worthy of pick 2.
Never.
He made one good throw during his pro day, and it went viral. And they're like, you know what, man, you're something. You can make a fucking roll out to your left, throw a deep ball, and we're gonna take you with our second pick. I can see them doing that with Jackson. I don't know why. Jackson Dart
Dart's a
reminds
little
me
bit
of that
better,
guy too.
though. Dart's a lot better, though. He played in the SEC, and he looked
That's
good.
true.
I
Yeah,
mean,
good numbers too.
that's the thing that like the people are looking at the metrics, and he did like
He
amazing
did. Yeah.
for like at Ole Miss, and yeah, they had
Where
the
did he?
loss.
Where did he start?
USC, of course. But that's why I like Dart too. I wouldn't be upset with it. And it's funny that I think, yeah, they replaced him with Caleb, so that's why he left. But yeah, I
Yes.
mean, he would have been the starter if they didn't go out and get Caleb. I would be fine with him at 7. I'm also leaning, tackle. We need line. Build up the line. Hopefully, you can kind of.
You guys can't draft tackles. Makai Becton, like dude, that's
He
still
just won
fresh in
Super
my
Bowl.
memory.
He just won.
I know he did. I know he did. And they put him at fucking guard.
I know
That
he's
was
a BS.
wild.
He's
6'7"
big
guard.
ticket. The big ticket on Twitter, I think, is his Twitter handle too.
Is it really? Oh,
Yeah,
he's ripping it off.
I mean, I'm
He's
happy.
ripping off Kevin Garnett. Get out of
I
here.
forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he didn't turn out. That was a bad pick back then too. But we didn't really help
Injuries,
him.
right?
Yeah, injuries plagued him, and then nobody helped him. Then they drafted AVT.
Same old story. Yep.
Vera Tucker out of USC, so he's a solid one. I think they currently have like 2 or 3 linemen that actually will be pretty competent. The guy they drafted last year, Olu, out of Penn State. I always fuck up his last name. It's like Fazu or whatever. He was
yeah, I know what you're
solid.
talking about.
He got hurt near the end of the year, so he wasn't out there. But he was solid. I'm fine with him. You have 3 or 4. But I wouldn't be upset with. I don't want them to grab defensive. The guy Mason Graham. I don't like that mock.
No.
But here's a guy that I actually would be okay with if they don't go the route of Jackson Dart and they don't trade up to try to get Cam Ward, which I'm also seeing a lot of.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah.
Is it defense?
No, offense.
What position? Let me guess. I want to guess.
Tight end. It's easy.
Oh, okay. Tyler Warren.
Yeah, I want Tyler Warren because we missed out on Bowers last year. Tyler Warren's metrics are very, very similar to Brock Bowers. Yes, we could say, oh, it was only a 1-year sample size. Okay,
Yeah.
He looked good. I think they need a tight end. Slot him in there. You still have GW on the outside. And if you don't go offensive tackle or offensive guard with that, I mean, you have to. Will Johnson wouldn't be bad. I think.
I was gonna say that's when you said I was wondering if you said defense. I was gonna go Will Johnson right away, but I guess
losing DJ Reed too.
I guess for Will Johnson, there's a lot riding on his 40 time for his draft stock. I guess he's kind of slow. Is the word on the street?
Yeah, I mean, in the Big Ten, you don't. I mean, outside of facing Ohio State, the wide receivers aren't exactly
are slow. Yeah.
I mean, now
Pat Bryant's your best competition.
Oregon has good wide receivers. USC always wide receiver. Get the fuck out of here.
Speaking of Oregon, Tez is about to fly up to the second round, having a nice Senior Bowl. But anyway,
yeah, he won't be the Troy Franklin of the draft.
Ew.
Yeah, awful. Anyway, yeah, I would be okay with like 3 guys. You give me Jackson Dart, then you tell me, hey, we're doing this. But like once again, I'm seeing a lot of like they might go after Stafford. I saw that, and they're trying hard to figure that out. I would love that. Tell me that we can't get Stafford up there.
Is he 39? Stafford?
I mean, he's old, but like, well, I mean, that would be such a lateral move too. It's like
exactly my point. It's like if you were gonna do that, you should have just kept Rodgers.
Yeah.
They're literally just dumb. They're like the Bears. They just they need to make some goddamn like accurate decisions, and that's why hopefully Ben Johnson fixes everything because the GM Ryan Poles is okay, but I think he's made some questionable decisions in his tenure.
A second for Claypool was a joke. I mean, thinking back, like how bad is it that like Nuke Hopkins couldn't get that? Like,
yeah.
Like,
what did he get? A 4th?
I don't even know. Bag of balls.
It was just bag of balls in a Snickers bar. But yeah, you're right. Claypool, where's CFL? Right?
I think so. I don't even know if he made it there. Joke of a Notre Dame player. Shocker.
Plenty of those.
I love watching Notre Dame lose in a national championship as much as anybody.
I'm a little sad because my Riley Leonard card auto is probably worth a Starbucks coffee now. But
It's still
once he gets
10 bucks.
drafted,
uh,
but yeah,
depends.
that they look fucking the first drive. Speaking of that, just real quick, like the first drive, you run 9 QB runs. That's the game plan.
Yeah,
That's why you lost NIU.
that would have
Nine
been.
QB runs. Like
Clearly
what the?
didn't listen after that, but I mean, I don't know. They did take out Georgia. They took out. I mean, Georgia was a weird team this year too.
They were.
I don't know. They took out Penn State. That's a good team.
Carson Beck doesn't like playing football. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Yeah, he went to go to hang out in Miami, which that's another joke of a school too. Shout
sure.
out, Schiller on that one.
Yeah, good luck for him on that one.
Not like he's going to listen to this podcast, but still,
No,
such a random team. But yeah, I don't know. The Jets need a lot. I don't want to sit through another rebuild, but my honest opinion is they punted on this season upcoming. They're going to go 3 and whatever. At this point, trade Garrett Wilson, let him be happy somewhere. But I did also see that they're interested in Chris Olave. So what that tells me is that they're going to do the whole my dog, Bryce Harper's dog, his name is Wrigley, and he's best friends with Chris Bryant. Okay, Chris Olave, played at Ohio State and is probably best friends with Justin Fields. Connecting the dots like Charlie Kelly.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, for speaking of a dumpster fire, holy hell, the Saints, my God.
Kellen Moore, I was talking about it with John too.
He took it out of pity.
That was a mistake. He should have waited. He should have waited another year and
pull a Ben Johnson, say nope, we're gonna have another successful season at OC, and then we're gonna move on to being a head coach. Real quick, didn't Kellen Moore start with the Lions as an OC at one point?
So he was. I think he was in the Lions. Yeah, I know he's with Dallas. I know it was Dallas.
Oh, maybe played for the Lions at one point, and then went to Dallas as the OC after. And then I'm trying to figure out the trail in my head. If you didn't watch Kellen Moore at Boise State, go Google that. Your fucking mind will be blown. Dude was a dog.
Yeah, he was.
But you're right. Yeah, that was a bad choice. Shouldn't have taken that job. Now he has to figure out.
They're cap held. They don't have a QB. I mean, it's gonna be
probably need to trade Kamara for a bag of balls.
Kendrick
Olave. Oh yeah, Kendry Miller's on deck, but Olave, Mr. Concussion, like honestly, Mr. CTE, feel bad for him, but that's not working out. The whole team is a dumpster fire.
Yeah, they're in bad shape. Who knows? We'll see what ends up happening with them, but I mean, we'll see. I'd love to see if we could trade for Olave and.
That would be a nice pairing, right? GW and Olave, and then maybe it's either Dart or Tyler Warren, Brees. We know what Brees will do, and then it's like, all right, well, maybe this thing can actually work, pending coaching issues.
Aaron Rodgers, it would work there with. I mean, I'm going to give Aaron Glenn a chance.
Yeah, you're right. It would have. It would have
been perfectly fine. But I think, granted, I think Glenn's changing the culture. We talked about that with the Bears. He's trying to change the culture. I can't fault him for that. I don't think it's a good way to try to win with the team that you have. And I got slack on that, saying that people don't think the Jets are ready to win. They were. They were.
They absolutely were. The roster had everything it needed. It's, again, if you don't have a coach and good fucking plays, it doesn't matter. Talent doesn't matter. You need to have that aspect. Everybody in this league is talented. Yeah. If you don't have the appropriate, preparation for the team you're playing and adjust game plans and schemes to the defense you are playing or the offense you are playing, it don't fucking matter. And a lot of people just ain't getting that part.
No, and I think the good thing about Aaron Glenn, too, is he hired Steve Wilkes, and he pretty much said, Steve, the defense is yours. Make it your own. So I'm happy with that. So, I mean, we'll see what he ends up doing. The 49ers defense was a little sus, but, I mean, I'll have some faith in them. And then, like I said, if he just, change the culture, bring in a QB, even if it's a bridge, but, let's just see what we can do.
I remember the third defensive end now.
Who is it?
Micah Parsons.
Oh, yeah, he's leaving.
No? You don't think so?
No.
There's a potential between Max Crosby, Micah Parsons, and Garrett Wilson. They were talking like just mock trades, but yeah.
Would be
Anyway,
interesting. Yeah, Cowboys are another mess of a team, but I mean, who knows with them too. But
yeah, because maybe they draft if they don't draft Genty, maybe they draft Luther Burden. I don't know, but that would be
Luther
kind of a hell of a
Burden,
pairing.
I have a bad taste in my mouth with him too. Um,
My
his metrics weren't really that good last year. Granted, it was shitty QB play, but
Brady Cook,
I mean, I get it.
Missouri.
Yeah, I know, but still, we'll see what he ends up being. I think, like,
Sure.
I don't know. I think Travis Hunter will end up with a better career than him.
All right. So speaking of which, what are we? Who's won for the Titans?
Who's going to the Titans?
Yeah, who are they drafting? Are they
I
going
want them to
to
take.
go?
I want them to take Carter personally.
How does that? And then who's there going to be there? What QB if in the free agent market goes there? Because Will's done.
I think you ride and die with Levis one more year. I mean, try to see what you can do.
Okay. Is it only year 3? Yes, for him moving into
year 3. I mean, you're still paying him. I mean, you bring in a rookie QB.
Contract.
I mean, it's tough. Like, if you're bad again, you end up with Arch Manning. So like that's
a good point. That's a good point.
I think they actually trade out of it personally, or I draft Travis Hunter. I do too. I take Hunter and make him play both ways. He's going to be good. He is going to be good. I have faith in him that he'll be a solid, like, especially for fantasy. If you can get points on both ends,
I'm still just not over you winning a Heisman for fucking snaps. It's disgusting.
I agree 100%. I still think Genty should have won it, but yeah. I do think that you could put Hunter, because he plays both ways on there, you could make him really good at one. If they do go that QB route, it's going to be Cam Ward, no problem.
Yep,
no
there we go.
Yep. And then the Browns, I could see them taking Shadir.
You do? Okay.
I think they're going to do it just to piss off Dion. Be like, hey,
and then it becomes a Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning situation in 2004.
Yeah, but I do think the Giants will end, and then I could see the Giants ending up. I would love to see the Giants get Cam Ward, and Neighbors.
I would too.
Oh, sign me up right there.
For my own selfish reasons, I would like Jameis to sign there, because he's just going to hit Neighbors with 170 targets, and
Honestly, people are saying the Jets might go get Jameis, and I'm like, please no, because here's what's going to happen: he's going to win games.
35 picks,
35 and 35. Just an awful display. But yeah, I mean, who would you take one if you're the Titans?
It depends if they're gonna. I would personally take Cam Ward.
Yeah, and then he's not going to get anything for Will Levis. Not that's the biggest.
That's the problem, and it's only he just finished year 2, and you still haven't given him really good pieces.
No.
He's tough as fucking nails. He's proven that. He's proven that he can be a quarterback in this league.
Yeah,
and they just haven't really surrounded him with what he needs. Yeah, I mean, I know he had D-Hop, but again, like let's actually get some pieces for this guy.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll. The Patriots are 4.
Sorry, I had a squirrel moment there. I think the Patriots pick 3, or is it the Giants who pick 3? It's like 3-4. One of them flip-flops.
Is it Giants?
I feel like
3, Patriots 4?
Yeah, either way. I mean, if Travis Hunter ends up on the Patriots too, that'd be a sick thing with Drake May.
Well, what do they do though? Do they reach on Tet to get him? No.
If Hunter is gone, they probably. I can see them trading back.
Sure.
And then building up the, kind of doing a Vrabel offense and building up that line.
That's right, because it's Vrabel now, and not OJ Mayo. That was a guard from USC basketball.
Throwback name.
Some Gerard Mayo. Gerard Mayo.
Yeah. Yeah, and
which they threw him into the fire.
That was bad. Kraft's going to get in a lot of trouble for that one.
Does Campbell go 4?
That's what I'm saying. He could go 4, and I don't think they go defense with him, but they're going to add to the line. I think if they don't get a playmaker, and honestly, he's contingent on if they get T. Higgins too. They're going to offer him a bag, and he's probably going to take it. and then that opens up Drake May, and then they probably bring in one of these rookie running backs as well to kind of run the Vrabel system. And I think Drake May is going to have a high outlook. Like I think you're going to see like that bounce, like that. Not bounce back because he didn't have a horrible year.
No,
you're
he
going to
didn't.
see him just take over, like kind of like Tannehill, but a better version of like not comparing him, but like how Tannehill had those good years when he had Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
He's going to have a better outlook than that. Like he'll be in a top 15 QB next year.
Trivia: what college did Tannehill go to?
Texas A&M. He's a wide receiver.
No notes needed. No notes needed.
Yeah. Just rattling enough.
Love it.
But yeah, the top 5 is actually going to be really fun to watch because I could see Carter going too if they're going to get rid of Garrett. I mean, Garrett, he can demand he wants to get traded. I don't think they're going to do it.
That's true. Yeah, like there is that aspect. Just because you say you want to get traded and you write this cool little goodbye letter and shit and thank you, and doesn't mean you're getting traded. So
exactly. I mean, I feel bad for the Browns fans too. Shout out Austin. So
yeah, fucking worry about finding your own fucking quarterback and leave Caleb alone, you fucking cheech.
Love it. All right, so we're at the 50-minute mark here. We do have to talk about our baseball teams a little bit. Unless you have anything, one last closing for NFL though.
No, I mean next thing we got is in 14 days. We're going to be starting the combine, and this is where people shoot up boards and or fall down, or fucking their draft stock takes a serious hit. So it's going to be interesting to see who that's going to. Every year, there's always those players that you just never expect. So I think Jackson Dart, just a prediction, is going to be one of those guys that shoots up the board after his combine and pro day.
Probably
maybe. But that's going to be for the running backs. That's going to be huge now, also as well, because we know what they can do in real time, and it's just like, what are the metrics going to be? What's our 40s going to be? How do we run routes? How's our 3-cone drill? So look forward to that, and then we'll have to break it down after the combine, because then it's going to be a little clearer landing spots.
We'll break it down podcast by podcast, position. We got a tough slate ahead of us for it, so it's going to be an exciting ride for the NFL. But moving into baseball, obviously this is podcast number 49. Let me give you the clue for my number 49 players. So
I've been thinking about it the whole fucking podcast, dude.
I got 2. There's 2 players.
Damn. Okay. Can you give me a team or something?
Oh, I will. Boston Red Sox. Boston 49. Red Sox Hall of Fame. Played from 1992 to 2011. He won 2 World Series. And he was an All-Star once. And he played for Boston.
Tim Wakefield.
Yes, sir. All right. Next one. Recent Cy Young winner. He won the Triple Crown. He was a 2018 World Series Gold Glover as well. He was drafted the first round of, I think, the 2010 draft, 13th overall. And he wore 49 for the first team he played for.
2018 Triple Crown in pitching.
He won the Triple Crown last year. And he won
he won it. Jesus.
Been in the league a while.
Blake Snell?
Nope. I'll give you the teams he's played for. Atlanta, the Red Sox, and the White Sox.
Oh. My apologies, Sale.
Yeah.
I should have thought that one through a little harder.
Yeah, 49, the GOAT.
The psycho who just destroys jerseys in his clubhouse. Rips the sleeves off.
Yeah, that was a mess. What a mess, man. Anyway, let's talk about your Cubbies for a little bit here. Missed out on Bregman.
I saw the breakdown of the teams that offered him, and he essentially just took the least amount of years and the most money. Yeah, that was it. That was his only factoring decision. Was like, okay, dude, like you're
Boston's
clearly
gonna be good this year, though.
Well, what do we got? Yeah, they got the pitching.
So you got, let me pull them up real quick, but off the top of my head, you got Giolito's coming off as Tommy John. That's not like the biggest
Hmm.
name, but he's going to be solid. And then I know that they have uh,
Duran, right?
Jared Duran, who's pretty much an MVP candidate, just because of the AL is such a toss up. It's either Judge or it's going to be somebody else.
Sure.
Why not him? They traded for Garrett Crochet, Tanner Houck, Brian Bayo, and Walker Bueller to round out the rotation. And then,
Walker's on there now.
yes, sir, 1 year deal, prove it deal. Tristan Casas had a breakout year.
Casas, yes, that was
Uh,
who I was trying to come up with too.
yep. And then you have Trevor Story at shortstop, and then Devers at third. And then Bregman
Don't they
slots in
also
at
have like Jeter Downs?
years ago, he didn't end up panning out, but they do
He
have
didn't
someone
pan
that
out.
you might
Okay,
be thinking of.
Manny
Rafaela. You're thinking of him. He
Rafaela.
plays center field. He was kind of like a not gadget guy, utility guy, where they can
Hmm.
plug him all over the infield as well. Solid. So I mean, that team's going to be solid. So I mean, I get why he picked them over that. Also, you're in the American League. You have a better chance to make the World Series than you do in the National.
Yeah,
League.
because I wonder who's going to make it for the National League.
Got that future out there too.
Might as well. It's just I don't. Like,
No,
I
it's
get
not gonna
it.
be fun
Look,
to
I
watch.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It's the reason you have to think about it is like this. And it actually, Joe Kelly, I watched him say this, and this is where I got it from. He's like, "You really, really don't understand why everybody wants to go to the Dodgers." Okay, imagine if you're coming from Japan, right?
Yeah.
Are you gonna move to Minnesota?
No.
You gonna move to Ohio?
You're going to be on the second team in
Yeah.
Chicago.
You're gonna be on the second team in Chicago? No, you're gonna go to fucking LA. You're gonna, be in Hollywood. That's where
Yeah.
you want to be. It's the
You're
best
gonna-
weather.
And your family that's still in Japan can watch you. That's the big thing. The time, like, that's
There's that too, right?
I mean,
So like,
it's like a 14-hour, I think, give or take 14-hour difference, but still, like, you're that guy. Like the population on the West Coast caters to them as well, so it's like it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, it's not shocking that all the the players want to go play with them. I mean, you want to play with your like the best of the best and win. That's simple as that. But the Cubs, I think they could be better. They're going to be better. They have a chance at the division. I'll break that down next week with Dan a little bit, probably, since some of the free agency is starting. We have pitchers and catchers just reported. But
Yep.
when you look at the Cubs, they do have pieces that actually do make sense for them to be successful and make a playoff run. But they didn't, like, I think Ricketts came out and said that they're trying to get money off the books, or Jed Hoyer said it, which pretty much they said they don't want to make these deferred deals. So what
Mhm.
that means, I think the Ricketts are going to sell the team personally. I think you're putting puzzle pieces together. You don't want to have any debt on your books that you want to sell the team to a new.
It's not marketable then, yeah, right? Like, don't
Because
probably lose franchise
Hayward-
value.
Yep, Hayward's deal is finally off the books next year, and then in
Oh my
2027, John Lester. So you get 2 more years of it.
Why are we talking about those names?
Yeah, all the deferred money.
2025.
I know. Still talking about.
Oh Lord, that contract haunts me. 10 years later.
I mean, you guys won a World Series. I mean,
I get it, but that was one of the worst. We won a World Series with him like hitting one under 200 that year. He could not hit a baseball. He could not hit a baseball that year. I'll never forget it.
He completely lost it after he went to the Cubs.
And he was a perennial. He was not a perennial, but he was a really good player with the
all-star.
Braves.
He was an all-star.
Yeah.
He was a top
He was
10 player
all-star.
with the Braves and the Cardinals too.
Yeah.
He was the most sought-after free agent that offseason.
Yes, and we got him, and then he forgot how to hit a baseball.
It
I
happens.
did. Whatever. We won the World Series, but yes.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, when you're looking at the Cubs, they did finally add to the their bullpen. Ryan Presley out of Houston, he's gonna be solid. If some of these young guys really come out, they took a chance on Nate Pearson. He was with Toronto. He was supposed to be a starter. They moved him to the bullpen. He throws pretty hard. Had some arm trouble in the past, so he'll be a solid ad for them.
We'll see how Matt Shaw pans out.
Matt Shaw was going to be the next
prospect.
guy I bring up. I mean, people are so worried about third base. I mean, it's not that much of a difference to move over from second to third. I mean, Like the throw is not much different. And then if he's that caliber of a player, it doesn't matter where the hell you play. So I
Yeah,
mean, they do have an exciting outlook this year. I will give them that. I probably will pick them to win the division just because I don't see what Milwaukee's really done to like really knock my socks off. And they don't have Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker is going to make a difference. The problem is I don't know if they're going to re-sign him. So like that's
right.
what the funny part is like I mean if they trade him midway through the year and this is worst case scenario, Cubs fall, fourth in the line here. Do they move him? Say, hey, we're not going to re-sign you anyway. See you later.
I mean, that's obviously always the blueprint, right? If you know you're not going to be able to re-sign them, that you got to get some sort of value for them. You would just hope that they make that move if we're out of contention. But I don't know why I'm not optimistic. I just don't like. I don't like any Chicago baseball right now. I don't even
No,
want to talk about your end. That
no,
was the
no.
most
There's nothing
fucking
to talk about.
pathetic. You had every piece. The rise was there, looked good, and then it's disgusting. Honestly,
Injuries,
it's just
injuries killed us the entire time. We'll touch on that for like
bad
a minute.
locker room culture.
Yeah, bad locker room culture. It was a cancer, and then injuries killed him. It started in pitching. 2018
Yeah,
when you see Kopech go down and all the other pitchers that went down with Tommy John, and then you had to go out and get Lance Lynn, but then you needed other pieces because then you had Moncada go down. Eloy couldn't stay healthy.
just went to the Angels, right?
Tampa. Tim Anderson. Oh, Moncada. Yeah, Moncada and Anderson both went to the Angels, so they're at least they're still playing ball. Eloy apparently looks healthy for the Rays, and watch him hit like 50 home runs for him.
Oh my God,
I mean,
that's how it goes, though. That's how it goes.
It does. I mean, at this point, I'm numb to it, so I don't even give a shit. But
Yeah,
I mean, I will give Getz a little bit of a leeway here because what he's doing isn't bad. I think he's trying to build up from the ground up. Granted, it's looking a lot like the goddamn Royals because they don't have that star player. I mean, Robert's still on the team, but I think he gets traded before the season even starts or by the deadline.
for his sake.
Yeah,
You
another
you
guy.
can't suffer. Yeah,
No, because that's the thing is he's not going to try if
no,
the team's because it was very evident last year he just gave up.
yeah.
If they move him, I hope for his sake he does. Send him to the Phillies. Let's go take like Andrew Painter and I don't know somebody, and just have a glob of just above average to potential star players, not superstars, but star players maybe. I mean, Colson Montgomery. I don't know what to say about him because AAA didn't really go that well. He wasn't hitting that high. Edgar Kiro, I think we traded Giolito for him. He's been hitting the cover off the ball all throughout the minors, so he
Okay.
might be our starting catcher. So good outlook. It's not going to be pretty. I'm not going to watch many games, if any, just because of once again, YouTube TV doesn't carry our local sports teams. Did you see that? CBS too. They just came to a small deal with CBS, and this is YouTube.
Oh, really?
Talking about, yeah. One of the best streaming networks is losing all channels pretty much. So like, what's the point?
Damn, I didn't see that. That's upsetting.
Yeah, but we'll see. Baseball in Chicago, we'll see. North side's a little bit more optimistic than my South Siders, so we'll see.
Yep. So we really just got college to look forward to at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm just counting the days till football again. But yeah, all right, buddy. Thanks for hopping on. Any closing comments?
Caleb is the truth. All your quarterbacks are not as good as Caleb. He will win an MVP. He will win a Super Bowl.
Okay. Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully he brings it to Chicago.
Yep. And that's how we're going to wrap up for episode 49, buddy.
There we go. All right.